gon' take it up from last year. Shoot on my shot, boy, I'm long range. Me and the team on the same thing. Stayed down, never switched up. Only thing changed was the game. I'm in the zone now. Nothing can change what we on now. When I pull up, know it's going down. Foot on the gas, ain't no slowing down. Aiming for greatness, no settling. Kick down the doors, they won't let me in. Taking no L's, yeah, I gotta win. Watch me kick down the doors, they won't let me in. Who running the game now? Foot on the gas, can slow down. No, my team, we holding it down. We know we running it now. Watch the game change. Watch the game change. Watch the game change. Watch the game change, yeah. Tell them that's like, yeah, it's CLV. I'm taking a shot for my enemies. I can't waste no more time on my energy. I know they know I got it on lock. Go against me, that's a long shot. Cause I'm counting wins all around the clock. Never doubt me, boy, I don't stop. Who do you feel when they make you the monster? I am not scared of none of you imposters. Taking the lead now while they watching. Think you should leave now while the option. Taking no L's, yeah, I gotta win. Watch me kick down the doors, they won't let me in. I'm running the game now. Foot on the gas, can slow down, no.
Welcome to another edition of the It's Cavalier podcast. It's your boy Mac, and tonight our Cleveland Cavaliers took on the Golden State Warriors, a team they've historically struggled against over the years. But things have changed. They are now 4-0 against them, dating back to last season. Tonight's victory represents two, not one, two straight season sweeps. Something that has not been accomplished since they did it from 2008 to 2010, the final two seasons in LeBron's first stint in Cleveland. Such a different time. I mean, seriously, such a different time in Cleveland and in Golden State for that matter. I mean, we're talking about a Golden State Warriors team at that time that was being led by none other than Steven Jackson, Jamal Crawford, Corey Maggette, just to name a few at 08 and 09, before they gave way to a baby-faced rook in Steph Curry. And then on the Cavaliers side of town, a team that featured the likes of Delonte West, Wally Zerbiak, Mo Williams, J.J. Hickson, Shaq, Big Z. A lot of names that bring back a lot of memories. But that just tells you how long it's been since they've done something like that. First time they've managed back-to-back sweeps since 08 to 10, right? Since 2008, from 2008 to 2010, first time they've managed to do that. But we're in a different era now, right? This iteration of the Cavs is led by the core four comprised of Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, and Jarrett Allen. It's the best team, right? The best team in not only the Eastern Conference, but the NBA as a whole. Tonight's victory only furthered that agenda, right? It bolstered that agenda. They are now a perfect 8-0 against the Western Conference this year. For context, they went 17-13 versus the West last year. Now, there were a number of performances against this team tonight in the Warriors that, again, they've traditionally given the Cavaliers a lot of problems, but there were a number of performances tonight that were awe-inspiring, right? Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell combined for 48 points, if I'm not mistaken. They were a combined 19 of 36, including 8 triples. These guys, I mean, especially in that third quarter. And it was by no means the best game you have ever seen out there. I was a little afraid that we were going to fall short of the 100-point mark for the first time this year, because at halftime, right, just 46 points to Golden State's 38. Cleveland shot just 39% in that first half to Golden State's even worse 30%. I mean, it was just a bad game in that first half for both teams. Not necessarily a bad game, but a very inefficient, kind of sloppy, turnover-ridden game as the Cavaliers turned the ball over 11 times. Golden State did 9 themselves, but neither team shot very well in that first half, and it definitely reflected, right, in the points totals. I was very, very afraid that we were able to that we were not going to be able to get to the 100-point mark for the first time this season, which would have just killed me. I stayed up late for this game, as I'm sure all of you guys did too. But man, this team is just crazy. And some of the guys that gave big time performances tonight, that did not necessarily show up big time in the stat sheet to me. I thought George Niang was very, very good in his minutes, especially on the defensive side of the ball. And he had 5 assists tonight. George had some really nice finds. He had one very slick feed to Darius Garland. He found Sam Merrill on kind of a give and go. And Ty Jerome, while he would finish just 3 of 10 from the field, he did kind of kick off a major spark to kind of get the Cavs back into it. But this did not really turn into a game until the third quarter. But before we dig into that, I just got to give my props to my guy, Dean Wade. Double-double tonight, 10 points, 13 rebounds. Yes, you heard that right. 13 rebounds, led all Cavaliers. That was over Evan Mobley. That was over Jared Allen. Didn't lead the entire game because, props given to Trace Jackson Davis, TJD as they call him over in Golden State. 16 points, 16 rebounds. Very, very good role player for them. Very, very solid for them. But Dean Wade on both ends of the floor. We love what this guy brings to the table. The floor spacing. He went 2 of 5 from 3-point distance tonight. The rebounding, again, 13 boards tonight. The defense, it's just awesome. I am starting to become of the belief that it's his job to lose. And y'all know what I'm talking about. The starting small forward. I'm not trying to get caught up in the moment, but this team just has a certain way about them when Dean Wade is out there. They are now 13-1 when Dean Wade starts. You heard that correctly. The Cavaliers are a sparkling 13-1 when Dean Wade starts. And in those games that he starts, he has now averaged 7.8 points, 6.5 rebounds, 1.5 assists. But even better than that, he shot 53.3% from the field, including 46.2% from 3-point range on pretty solid volume, might I add, at 4.3 triples attempted per game. He's been damn good whenever they start and whenever he starts. So I gotta admit, I'm starting to become of the belief that Dean Wade, it's just his job to lose. And that's no disrespect to Isaac Okoro, who has had a career year in many respects. No disrespect to Max Strus, who is coming back, right? Had a pretty solid game from him. Not necessarily from a statistical standpoint, but I'll dive into why I believe Max Strus is impactful out there a little bit later on. But I'm telling you, I think that it is Dean Wade. I think it is Dean Wade. I don't think that we need to go matchup driven with this. I think you can, especially when the playoffs start. But I think what he gives you on not only the defensive side of the ball, but the floor spacing and the rebounding, what he does, all wrapped up into one, and the ability to defend bigger wings. I think that come playoff time will become invaluable. I think that will become invaluable come playoff time. I just think that's where we're at, man. I'm telling you. At the end of the day, though, this is a team, right? And nobody truly feels left out at times. Everybody does their part. Katie basically played 10 deep tonight with the likes of Karis LeVert, George Niang, Ty Drill, Max Strus, and Sam Merrill filling out the reserve portions until they gave way to Jalen Tyson, JT Thor, Tristan Thompson, Craig Porter Jr., right? So everybody saw the court tonight, but it was essentially a 10-man rotation. A big reason for that was the early foul trouble from Evan Mobley. Not the best Evan Mobley game, just 7.7 rebounds. He did have a couple of sequences out there where, especially on defense, he blocked TJD a couple of times. I thought that was pretty damn cool. But this is not going to be a night where people are going to look back on and say, oh, this is an all-star caliber player. But I mean, it's okay. It'll happen every now and then. He had picked up his first 2 fouls within the first 10 minutes of the game, then picked up, I want to say, his 3rd foul prior to the second even ending. But yeah, he was in foul trouble basically all night. So that limited him to just 25 minutes of action. But here's the thing. No starter played more than 29 minutes, guys. No, no starter played more than 29 minutes. They were led by Darius Garland, who balled out tonight. And I'm going to tell you something. The one thing that I loved seeing from Darius Garland was the aggressiveness tonight. This motherfucker was aggressive as fuck. I mean, you saw it on his face, seriously. Whenever he drove inside, whenever he hit triples, you could just tell that Darius Garland's confidence was through the roof. He was letting the Warriors bench know, similar to what we saw from Ty Jerome after he knocked down a couple of triples and shit. But he was letting these dudes know. And I'll tell you what, this guy, when he's playing like that, the Cavaliers are a damn hard team. I mean, suffice it to say, they're probably unbeatable when Darius Garland is playing like that. I know we say that a lot around here, and call me a homer all you want, but oh man, Darius Garland, seeing him play like an all-star for the third year in his career, I just think that's just phenomenal. Yes, I'm going to say third because he's got the one all-star nod, but I also believe that he played like an all-star during the 2022-23 season, even though he didn't make it in. And though he is in danger this season, let's just be honest, he is in danger of not making the all-star team this year due to how fucking good some of the guards are in the East this year. He deserves it. And hopefully the Cavaliers winning as many games as they have now, 28-4. These dudes only lost 4 fucking games on the season. Haven't lost to the West yet either. So I want to hear anything about the West. And we're going to see some of these big time matchups like OKC. They're coming up. We got the Lakers tomorrow against Bron and company, right? And happy birthday to Bron. Shout out to him. Can't forget about him. 40th birthday. I have to think the NBA did that on purpose. It'll be the first game that he plays in his 40s. But this is a new era. This ain't about LeBron. So I'm just happy with where we are at right now. But as I was saying before, this game really, really turned into something in the second half. The first half was just garbage. It made me want to pull my hair out. But yeah, I mean, you look at some of the things that they were able to do in the second half. I mean, you got Donovan Mitchell, who basically hit 3 or 4 triples in that third quarter alone. And the spark that this dude brought to the table. And then Dean Wade, you see what he's doing right here. This dude, when he spaces the floor, it just makes you feel like he deserves to be out there alongside that core 4. Then you got Evan Mobley pulling up, having the confidence when nobody's out there around him. Shit that we've been seeing from him all season long. And while Mobley only drilled 1 triple tonight, this is another game in which he took 4, which continues to speak to his confidence out there. Look at Donovan, man. Look at Donovan Mitchell. Look at Spida out there just drilling and taking triples over Steph Curry and company. You love to see that. Yeah, I mean, seriously, what else is there? What can you say to really describe what you have seen from this Cavaliers team this season? This is their second straight sweep of a team. They just swept the Nuggets. Now they swept the Warriors. Again, first time they've done that since 2008 to 2010. Ah, man, it's just beautiful. It's just beautiful. What's not to like about the stretch that we are seeing from this team? And I know that they're just going to continue to say it's a regular season team, this Cavaliers team is, but I just heavily disagree with that. I think people just have such a difficulty enjoying the moment, enjoying what they're seeing from this team, because this team is on a 70+ win pace, something that very few teams in the history of the entire NBA have managed to do. The Warriors as an organization were one of those teams, and we know how that ended at the hands of these Cleveland Cavaliers, right, to get our first championship. But I'll tell you what, man, this team, sometimes you just watch what is playing out from a game-to-game basis. You see the vibes. They're immaculate as ever, but you can just tell it's a tangible feeling that sometimes a team is taking that next step towards championship contention. And regardless if the Cavaliers win a title this year or not, progress has been made. Progress has been made in a major way. And obviously, Kenny Atkinson plays a major role in that, maybe the biggest. But guys getting their groove back, remaining relatively healthy, and having the confidence to just be themselves, right? Evan Mobley becoming more and more assertive out there, asking for the ball a lot more, pulling up from 3-point range. Darius Garland attacking and driving, being more decisive with the basketball and his decision making. It's just awesome. It's just an awesome sight. And that's not to even speak of any of the small developments that we have seen, like the emergence of players like Ty Jerome, a former Golden State Warrior, who you love to see him, kind of give the Warriors bench some shit after, coming over to Cleveland. And we know last year was kind of a lost season for him, but to see the step forward that he has taken, it has been awesome. And I know I'm going to continue to sound like a broken record here, but there's not a lot of negatives about this team right now. People are going to continue to say, the strength of the schedule is weak, and this team is not playoff proven, yada yada. We're not the best team in the NBA, but I don't know how you can look at this team and not consider them the best team in the NBA. I just don't know how you do it. I really don't, because night in and night out, they win in various ways. They win in different ways, different leading scorers almost every single night. The bench is actually showing up. And speaking of the bench, Max Strus, right? This is his fourth game back of the season, right? He has not entered the starting lineup. Obviously, I think that this is a decision that they have made because they're trying to work him back into the rotation. So that needs to be taken into consideration. But again, this represents just his fourth game of the season. And I'll put it kindly, it hasn't started out efficiently. And coming into tonight, Strus was averaging 5.3 points, 3.7 rebounds, and 1.7 assists, completing just 35.3% of his field goals, including 28.6% from three-point distance on roughly 4.7 attempts per game. But besides that, I've liked what I've seen from him so far. His presence has definitely added even more spacing to certain lineups. And the lineup that he's played the most minutes in so far entering tonight was one featuring Karis LeVert, George Niang, Donovan Mitchell himself, and Evan Mobley at the 5. It's been pretty damn good with a respectable plus minus of plus 5.7, which it's pretty high up there, right? That lineup has generated a ton of good looks, and they've converted on a high number of them, going 24 of 44, which is 54.5%, including 14 of 27, which is 51.9% from three-point distance. That's already the sixth most made three-pointers of any lineup they've put out there on the season. And that's just 3 games, right? Prior to tonight, that's just 3 games worth of a sample size. That is insane to me, the amount of production that his mere presence out on the court kind of instills. It's because it creates chaos for teams because of his off-ball movement, specifically that, right? He's a quality cutter. He darts around screens. He's a key factor in many DHO dribble handoff sets and will often force his defenders to give chase around the court, right? He's mostly a catch and shoot specialist in terms of the three-point shot. And prior to tonight, 13 of his 14 shots had been of the catch and shoot variety. But again, his presence just kind of translates to good offense. Entering tonight, he had the highest offensive rating on the team at 133.3. I mean, that kind of says it all right there. I mean, his impact out there, no matter the statistical output, no matter the efficiency, he kind of just makes the Cavaliers better. It's a lot of the same argument that we have made for Dean Wade, but Dean is starting to round back into form. Over Dean's last six games, 7.8 points, 6.5 rebounds, 1.5 assists, right? You love to see it. You love to see it from Dean Wade. He has done some pretty big things, but Max Strus, he has that similar effect. When he is out there, the team just kind of plays really good basketball, especially from an offensive standpoint. And I think that he is eventually going to morph back into more of an efficient shooter. He was just 1 of 6 from the field, including 1 of 5 from three-point range tonight. But I liked what he brings to the table, right? The ability to generate good looks for others because of the sheer gravity that follows you. teams know that he is a known commodity from 3-point line, so they will close out on him. They'll chase him around screens, similar to what they do with Sam Merrill. But is when he gets his legs under him, when he gets that shot back, when he gets into rhythm, it just adds a whole nother faucet to this team. And I remain very curious to see how Kenny chooses to address who continues to start. Right now, I think obviously you have to throw another wrench in this when Isaac Okoro comes back, because Isaac has also been somebody that has been worthy of that starting unit and has made himself a valuable role player for this team. But I think with what you get from Dean Wade all rolled into one, it's hard to pull him. It is really, really hard to pull him, because you guys saw some of the possessions he had out there, D'ing up the likes of Steph Curry and just Kuminga, and there's any number of big time perimeter threats out there. And speaking of Steph, this is a pretty bad game from Steph, right? 11 points, just 4 of 14 from the field, 3 of 11 from 3-point distance. You will take that every time you play with them. And usually Steph is somebody that's going to generate a lot of doubles, sometimes triples. But I mean, Dean, he just spends his time defending a little bit of everybody out there. And so I'm not trying to turn this into a Dean Wade specific podcast, but I'll tell you what, I've just been very, very impressed with what I've seen from him when he is healthy on the season. And that's the key factor, right? We want Dean Wade to remain healthy. And as long as he does that entering the fucking playoffs, we're good. Because the one of the two biggest needs on this team, is a big 3-and-D wing. If Dean can stay healthy, he is basically that. Maybe not with the volume, right? He did attempt at least 5 triples tonight, which is good, but a big 3-and-D wing is one of the bigger needs on this roster. One of the only two, in my opinion. I think the other obviously is a real backup big, 4 or 5, but or floor spacing preferred. But if Dean can stay healthy, he is basically that big 3-and-D wing that people want to trade for, right? He's not Cam Johnson or anything from 3-point distance, but he's a better defender, in my opinion. He's better on the boards. And when he does get locked in from the 3-point line, can't ask for anything more. It's pretty damn good. I don't think you necessarily need somebody who's going to jack up a ton of shots, but you definitely need somebody who's going to put up, 4 or 5 a game. And that is what we have started to see with Isaac, even, right? When he was out there. It may not be, 6 or 7 like we were used to from Max Strus last year, but you definitely need somebody at the 3 who's going to defend their ass off, check, and somebody who's going to not be afraid and have the confidence to take that shot when it's given to him, check. Dean has done those things, and I think Kenny Atkinson has been a big part in that and instilling confidence in all these guys, but been pretty damn good. I really think that's probably about it for some of the major talking points tonight. I think that playing against Los Angeles tomorrow, we're going to learn even more. The Cavaliers will have an opportunity to hand LeBron his first L in his 40s. I think that's a big deal. And I mean, this is just perfect scheduling, right? I think that they have the opportunity to go 9-0 against the West. I think that's huge. It will continue to bolster and further that agenda that the Eastern Conference has. The Eastern Conference has the leg up on the West, and that the West ain't got shit on Cleveland right now. But I mean, there'll be some matchups here that will really test our resolve. We do have a matchup with the Dallas Mavericks on January 3rd. We have a big matchup with the NBA's second best record and team in the Oklahoma City Thunder at 26-5. So those are two big matchups to keep an eye on. But man, we're in a good spot right now. We're in a damn good spot right now. And to see the Cavaliers sweep the Warriors in 2 straight years, I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. It really doesn't, because the Cavaliers, they're historically, it has not always been good. And we know if you factor in the playoff battles that these two teams have had, you know that you feel the pain, right? you feel the pain. It's just been good. It's definitely been a good feeling for fans of this basketball team, and I think the sky's the limit. And that's probably about a good spot to leave it at. I'm tired as hell. I don't know about you guys. I don't know if you live on the west, if you live on the east, but it is 12:50 my time. So I'm going to take this opportunity to just wish you all a happy new year in case I don't get to chat with you all tomorrow. And hopefully you guys had a good holiday. That said, as I always tell you, if you like to reach out to me, now you can. It's Cavalier_pod on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and more. If you want to be added to the It's Cavalier Discord chat, you know what to do. Leave a rating, leave a review, send a screenshot. I said review to itscavalier53@gmail.com, and I will send you an invite. If you happen to be watching over on X, do your boy a favor, head on over to YouTube, hit that like button, subscribe so you never miss out on a beat of Cavalier coverage. Hit that notification bell while you're at it. Go Cavs.